Test. Welcome to the families and friends of all our graduates. We're delighted that you have joined us for this monumental occasion. The 2023 Fall Commencement will now begin with the student processional, followed by the platform party. The audience is requested to remain seated during the processional. Ladies and gentlemen, the chair of the faculty, Dr. Herla McGowan. The executive vice chancellor and provost, Dr. Warwick Arden. The deans of the colleges, members of the board of trustees, honored guests. Will the audience please rise for the presentation of the colors by the NC State Combined Color Guard and our national anthem led by Wolfgang a cappella.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave
Will the audience please be seated? Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Dr. W. Randolph Woodson, Chancellor of North Carolina State University.
Welcome to PNC Arena for the North Carolina State University Fall Commencement exercises. Thank you all for joining us today. This is a very, very special day in the life of NC State and certainly in the life of all of these students and our faculty. I'd like to recognize the members of the NC State Board of Trustees and representatives from the UNC System Board of Governors and esteemed guests and members of the Platform Party. Unfortunately, one member of the Platform Party announced in the brochure is unable to join us this morning, and that's Dr. Jim Owens. He will not be receiving the honorary doctorate today, sends his deepest regrets, but will be back in May. We're delighted, however, to have with us as we celebrate the class of 2023. NC State, the class of 2023, give it up. NC State is so proud to be the People's University, a significant force in North Carolina's economic vitality and dedicated to improving the lives of all North Carolinians through our teaching, our research, our extension and engagement, and through our economic development activities. Our university system is nationally renowned thanks to the exceptional students among us today, excellent faculty here with us as well, and staff, and the critical funding that our university receives from the state leadership and the legislature. And they provide this funding to the University of North Carolina system to keep our universities as affordable as possible for the students that attend. And I want to congratulate each and every one of our graduates today as we celebrate your many, many accomplishments and thank them for the role that they played in making NC State such an outstanding place to live, to learn, and to work. What you have been able to accomplish during your time at NC State, despite many challenges, and you know what they are, is nothing short of extraordinary. You have worked through every obstacle and overcome every difficulty. And we have a lot to celebrate, and we have a lot to celebrate today, and we're going to get to it. But first, let's take a moment to hear from our Board of Trustees Chair, Ed Wisiger, Jr.
Thank you, Chancellor Woodson, and thank you to members of the Platform Party, our wonderful faculty, and the supportive family and friends of today's graduates. First, I'd like to introduce our Board of Trustees members that are with us today. Please stand as I introduce each of you. Tim Humphrey, Gazelle Johnston, Wendell Murphy, David Powers, Harry Safran, and Ed Stack, and of course, the 2023-24 Student Body President, Timothy Reed. Thank you all for being here on such a special occasion and for all the hard work that you do for our great university. And now to our graduates. I'd like to offer you my sincerest congratulations. Today is your day. It's a time where we get to celebrate your years here on campus. And to your friends and family that are here today, I want to call out a thank you to them because their support and their encouragement of you were an instrumental part of each graduate's journey here at NC State. NC State prides itself in offering students a unique educational experience that will teach them to think both boldly and critically, two skills that are so important in today's world. You now have received this foundation and the skills necessary to take on the challenges that life will present to you. We're excited to welcome you to the vast community of Wolfpack alumni and encourage you to stay connected to the university as you begin the next stages in your life. You're truly a part of a great legacy, so congratulations again. We cannot wait to see where your adventures take you. So thank you all and congratulations.
Thank you, Chair Wisiger, and thank you to all of the Board of Trustees members that are with us today. We're especially delighted to have another person with us today who's truly committed to the value of higher education in North Carolina and beyond. To bring greetings from the Board of Governors, please welcome Jimmy Clark.
Thank you, Chancellor. Good morning. I am so proud to be with all of you today and to take part in this wonderful occasion for this class of 2023. With you, your families and friends, and NC State's outstanding faculty, staff, and leadership, it is my pleasure to bring greetings today on behalf of Chair Randy Ramsey and the UN System President Peter Hans. Graduates, congratulations. Today is such a special day for each and every one of you. It's a day that we get to celebrate your amazing academic accomplishments and the beginning of a new chapter of your life. I hope that receiving this degree today shows you that you have already received the necessary skills, knowledge, and work ethic to go out and take the world by storm. I have no doubt that you all will make a positive difference in our state, our country, and around the world. No matter what path you may take, I encourage each of you to stay connected to this wonderful university. NC State will help guide you, and they prepared you for this success. I want you to always remember that as an NC State graduate myself, let me remind you to never, ever forget that you're part of the pack. Congratulations again to the class of 2023. We're so very proud of each of you. Go Pack.
The most prestigious academic honor that NC State awards is a conferral of the honorary degree. The authority to award the honorary degree resides with our Board of Trustees and involves the faculty, the trustees, and the administration. Let me ask Chair Wisiger and other members of our Board of Trustees to join me here at the podium. And Dr. Saul, if I could have you join us as well. Dr. Hurley McGowan, Chair of the Faculty, will you present the citation for the honorary degree recipient?
Dr. Amadou A. Saul is a virologist and the CEO of the Institut Pasteur de Decour, a nonprofit foundation of public utility dedicated to promoting public health and well-being in West Africa. In his 28-year career, he has become an expert in epidemics and global health security. He serves as the director of the World Health Organization's Collaborating Center for Arboroviruses and Viral Hemorrhagic Fever. Dr. Saul's research focuses primarily on diagnosis, ecology, and evolution of viral hemorrhagic fever, arboroviruses, and viruses. In 2011, he was awarded Senegal's highest scientific distinction, the Grand Prix of the President of the Republic of Senegal for the Sciences. He has also received the UNESCO Prize for the Life Sciences in 2015 and was admitted to the National Academy of Sciences and Techniques in Senegal in 2012. Dr. Saul is the president of the Pasteur Network, which has 32 institutes in 26 countries, and sits on the scientific boards of the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation's Global Public Health Program, the Foundation for Innovative and New Diagnostics in Geneva, the Medical Research Unit of Gambia, the African Society of Medical Laboratories, the Canadian NGO GUARD, and Particles for Humanity. He also served on the Coalition for Epidemics Preparedness and Innovation from the Franco-Senegalese campus in Senegal. He acquired his scientific training at the Institut Pasteur in Paris, the Institute of Virology and Microbiology of the Environment at Oxford, the Tropical Disease Research Center at the University of Texas Medical Branch, and the Albert Einstein School of Medicine at Yeshiva University in New York. Dr. Saul is currently an adjunct international member of the University of Texas Medical Branch Center in Tropical Diseases and an adjunct professor at the College of Veterinary Medicine at NC State.
Dr. Saul, by the virtue of the authority vested in me by the Board of Trustees, I hereby confer upon you the degree of Doctor of Sciences honoris causa. Congratulations. It's now my pleasure to welcome back to NC State and to this grand arena, where she's been many times, Debbie Antonelli. Debbie Antonelli is a two-time Emmy Award-winning basketball analyst and has covered men's and women's college basketball for ESPN, CBS, and the NCAA men's tournament for over 36 years running. Debbie's a decorated NC State athlete and played for the Naismith Hall of Fame basketball coach, Kay Yao, for 4 years, 4 NC State tournaments, 2 Sweet 16s as a shooting guard. In 2021, Debbie was inducted into the North Carolina Sports Hall of Fame, and in 2022 was inducted into the Women's Basketball Hall of Fame. In addition to her career in broadcasting, Debbie served as the Director of Marketing for the University of Kentucky and the Ohio State University. Inspired by her son, a Special Olympics athlete, Debbie founded a fundraiser called 24 Hours of Nothing But Net, a 24-hour free throw shooting marathon in which she makes 100 free throws every hour. Boy, it would take a long time for me to make 100 free throws. In the last 5 years, Team Antonelli has raised more than $847,000 for Special Olympics and hopes to cross the $1 million mark in May of 2024. Debbie earned dual bachelor's degrees from NC State in business management and economics, and she holds a master's degree in sports administration from Ohio University. She resides in Mount Pleasant, South Carolina, with her husband of 31 years, Frank, and her sons, Joey, Frankie, and Patrick. Debbie, you honor us with your presence today, and we're so excited to hear from you as you greet the class of 2023. Ladies and gentlemen, Debbie Antonelli.
Thank you, Chancellor Woodson. And Dr. Saul, I think you're a hero. Members of the Board of Trustees, NC State's leaders, members of the University of North Carolina System Board of Governors, faculty members, NC State staff, parents, families, friends, and graduates. I'm humbled and honored to share a few words with you today on this memorable day. I deeply care about NC State University and feel enormous pride to be here. The anticipation of this day may have seemed impossible or unattainable, the journey a long road, but here we are, recognizing more than 3,400 graduates from this world-class university with an academic experience and life skills experience that has equipped each of you with tools to navigate next and every, next opportunity, next challenge, every opportunity, every challenge. So I'm not here today to crack a bunch of jokes or give you a bunch of Shakespearean quotes, a list of cliches. Some of you are not going to remember what I say anyway. But I'm standing in front of you as proof and hope that you can outperform your transcript. I assume Chancellor Woodson didn't look at mine before he invited me. He'd have to dig deep in the bowels of the archives using the microfiche to find it. Google microfiche later. So let's get right to it. Let's keep it real and simple, because I know we got some corks to pop and some celebrations to attend. Today, it's about you. Enjoy, celebrate, reflect, go ahead and overindulge, because after today, it won't be just about you. Moving forward, you will be part of something bigger. Your life will evolve around teams, a family team, a workforce team, a team of volunteers, a team of neighbors. And when you're on a team, it's not about you, it's about the team. Since my own graduation, I've been on numerous teams, none more important than my family, my co-workers at ESPN and CBS, and the volunteers at Special Olympics. Over time, I've developed a philosophy I call build, serve, and empower. Building a team requires hard work, staying humble, and persistence. Your Think and Do experience at NC State has prepared each of you to build your own team and has served as launching pad for an opportunity to create your own path. It can be scary out there, but I know you're ready. Achievement doesn't happen because we want it to happen. You gotta make it happen. And when we hit adversity or a roadblock, how we respond with the tools we've been equipped with is where growth, prosperity, and more opportunity can occur. I want to be a builder, constructive with my time, my decision-making about career and family, and I encourage you to consider a similar approach. When my middle son, Frankie, was born with Down syndrome, our family dynamic changed. It wasn't what we planned for his life or our family. We faced a change in plans. Our response was to be the very best parents we could be to help Frankie be the best he could be, given his unique set of opportunities. We all have a unique set of circumstances. Team Antonelli built an offense and we made a plan. And I don't play any defense. And certainly not like our All-American Butkus Award winner, Peyton Wilson. For you, stay on offense in your thinking and your actions and find a rhythm. Serve. Chancellor Whitson referenced my coach, the late, great Kay Yao, a Naismith Hall of Famer, and one of my mentors at NC State. She believes service was the most important quality of a good leader. I try to serve, making someone's path easier and finding ways to make my teammates better. If I build and serve, I can influence and empower others to do the same. That's my practice for responding. I challenge you to think about your plan to persevere through adverse times. Team Antonelli started with an idea to build an event to raise money for Special Olympics. Inspired by our son, Frankie, we created 24 Hours Nothing But Net. That's a free throw shooting marathon, as the Chancellor referenced. We started out as one family, supporting Frankie and families like ours who value the Special Olympic experience. And after this year's event, which will happen in May, with the help of so many supporters, we are going to raise $1 million for Special Olympics. It truly snowballed. Thank you. Thank you. It truly snowballed as we focused on build, serve, and empower. You don't have to raise $1 million, but you can build and serve your community, empower others to join in your efforts. Basketball has taught me much about life. In basketball, there are fundamentals and concepts. Fundamentals of basketball are pass, dribble, and shoot, constants in the game. Concepts are broader and philosophical. What pace do we want to play? What do we emphasize? How do we plan to score? I'm always on offense, so I'm finding ways to say yes. And like I say on TV, take your shot and shoot till your arm falls off. Life is similar. We all have similar fundamental needs. We go about conducting routines around the philosophies of how we choose to live our lives. No matter your choices, no one is responsible for your happiness but you. Find what makes your heart full and do it. Your lives and our world will be better for brighter, thoughtful, more positive people in our communities. Be bold, be opportunistic, be enthusiastic, and bring energy to your ideas and passions. Think big about your opportunities. Find your passionate vibe and create that rhythm. You may not always find balance in your busy lives, however, you can find a rhythm that brings you right back to your fundamentals, concepts, and the passions you choose. You will be prepared for anything and everything with the right response and the correct attitude. So commence. Take a deep breath. Keep your eyes up and say yes to the uncomfortable, the adventurous, and your own self-discipline. Do what's right and make good choices. Do more critical thinking, but pause before you hit the send button. Make your positive self-talk louder than your self-doubt. Be in charge of your own happiness. The partnership between you and NC State is a two-way investment. We're counting on each other. The ability to share your time, talent, and creativity is not limited to your financial status. The ability to give is a learned skill, and everyone has creative power to contribute to a better place. NC State has prepared you as our next leaders, and we need you. You are smart, prepared, energetic, full of ambition, and one day you might pull out that old transcript and find you outperformed your transcript and end up on the dais of your favorite university. Thank you, congratulations, and go Pack!
Well, Debbie, I can assure you I did not review your transcript. You know, the strength of a university is what you all and what Debbie has done through her life and what you will do through your life. You bring recognition to our university as graduates of our university, not what's on your transcript, but what you accomplished as a result of that transcript. So thank you so much, Debbie. You inspire us with your words. And now let's take a few minutes to enjoy a special, I'm having a hard time this morning, a special musical presentation from Wolfgang a cappella.
Maybe I can't wait to I know I love you. I find it hard to see how you feel about me. 'Cause I don't understand you. Oh, you are yet to learn how to speak. When we first met, I will never forget. 'Cause even though I didn't know you yet, we were bound together then and forever. And I could never let you go. Baby, I can't wait to know. What do you think about things? Believe me, I will always be there, so you can tell me anything and I'll listen. When we are together, there isn't anywhere where I would rather be. 3 birds of a feather. I just hope you enjoy our company. It's been some time, no one to define, as if the stars have started to align. We are bound together then and forever, and I could never let you go, baby. I can't wait to know. What do you think about things? Believe me, I will always be there, so you can tell me anything and I'll listen. I might even know what to say. I'll be, baby, I can't wait to know. What do you think about things? Believe me, I will always be there, so you can tell me anything and I'll listen.
Well, those stats are impressive, aren't they? Such a diverse and impactful group. And how about Wolfgang a cappella? I mean, it's almost like there's a whole band up here. But thank them so much for their performance. And now, for the moment you've all been waiting for. We're going to move all the chairs. We're going to play hockey. All right, okay. No, we're not. We're going to confer the degrees that you all came here to celebrate. And to begin the conferral of degrees, please welcome Provost Warwick Arden.
Thank you, Chancellor Woodson. You know, I was going to sing my part of it today, but I think you would all be extraordinarily disappointed after Wolfgang a cappella. So we're going to start with the presentation of graduate degrees. Please welcome Dr. Leanne Lynch from the Graduate School, who will present the candidates for the Doctor of Philosophy, Doctor of Education, and Doctor of Design degrees.
Congratulations, graduates. Your hard work in diverse disciplines has prepared you for impactful careers. Thanks to our dedicated faculty, you've acquired valuable knowledge and skills embodying the Think and Do ethos. As you step into the future, we look forward to the positive impacts you'll make in North Carolina, the nation, and beyond. Best wishes for continued success. Will the marshals please conduct the doctoral candidates to the right of the stage? Will the audience please hold its applause until all candidates have received their diploma? Chancellor Woodson, upon the recommendation of the Administrative Board of the Graduate School, I'm delighted to present the following candidates for the degree of Doctor of Philosophy, Doctor of Education, and Doctor of Design. Dr. Ed Funkhauser from the Department of Communication and Dr. Dudley Marquis from the Department of World Languages and Cultures will now announce the candidates.
Faisal Abedin. Muhammad Anayev. Brianna Janae Ruth Barrett. Raga Bandari. Brittany Ladane Black. Minerva Bonilla. Allison Boone. Alexis Briggs. Amelise Brito. Daniel Carpenter. Grayson Cave. Zuyu Chen. Gong Fan Chin. Drew Clark. Tara Koya. Tracy Pulliam Collins. Evan Curcio. Sing J. Du. Cody Ellington. Abdulrahman El Maligi. Mark Farbman. William Carr Fox. Juan Gao. Gregory S. Garner. Ankita Gupta. Amber Ellen Holland. Jinling Huang. Hassan Iqbal. Somaye Kashani.
Naina Khosla. Hassan Ali Khan. Yosra Koteb. Teresa Levins. Alan Joshua Leonard. Jun Lang Lee. Wei Zhou Lee. Kevin Nan Lin. Yaje Leo. Gikomborero Machikiti. James Michael Madden. Yulia Manjeva. Keith Mann. Pega Matur. Laura McGee. Ashley Nash. Mei-Chen Pan. Sharada Sri Prasad Pandit. Roslyn Powell. Chandler Probert. Erica Reeder. Joel Sanchez. Roman Shardar. Shudit Sadama. Adam Schmidt. Ashley Schoonmaker. Brian Schulker. Melbert Schwartz. Samia Sharma. Shayanan Sheikh. Shaniqua Darian Simpson. Chin Sway.
Ashley Tharp. Dana Thomas. Zachary Vasquez. Dake Wang. Tonghui Huang. Yuanshao Su. Shichen Yan. Zhu Zing. Shahu Zhang. Yiwei Zhang. Yun Shu Zhang, Sean Yi Zhang, Yifan Chao, Hai Hun Cho, Angela Gay Audrey, Chandramalai Ashwati, Hemant Kumar, Melad Shamsi, Julio Enrique Terran, Dylan Dennison, Emmanuel Echeverri Jimenez, Jun Chen Liu, Sung Hyun Park, Ezgi Balkanai, Elizabeth Wardzinski, Runji Zhao, Sean Liu, Han Wang, Xiaoji Gao, Ian McGregor, Archit Gajar, Prayunk Kushup, Rezvan Madavi Hezevet, Curtis Conrad,
Sri Nivasan Balan, Ifat Anjum, Isaac Polinsky, Justin Geddes, Kristen Ann Windolowski, Sodiq Agoro, Wen Lowe, Urmi Devi, Alexander Snyder, Valencia Hicks Harris, Lonnie Darnell Cecil Mans, Farzal Batene, Bradley Davis, Sun Young Woo, Shin Lee, Ruatin Lee, Myra Beckers, Somanita Kayam, Elizabeth Cornigi, Eduardo Barbieri, Mercedes Caramoru, Bradley Ramon Davis, Ken Engel, Kyle Morris, David Lott, Sarah Simmons, Abby Stotzenberg, Pam Batchelor, Aquia Chumasi, Jahan Waller,
the candidates for the Doctor of Philosophy, the Doctor of Education, and the Doctor of Design degrees please stand? Will the major professors sponsoring these candidates today please stand with them? Chancellor Woodson, upon the recommendation of the Administrative Board of the Graduate School and the graduate faculty, I present these candidates who have fulfilled the degree requirements and recommend that their appropriate degrees be conferred.
Okay, yeah. Upon the recommendation of Dean Lynch, the Administrative Board of the Graduate School and the graduate faculty of North Carolina State University, and by the authority vested in me by the Board of Trustees, I hereby confer upon you individually the doctoral degree, with all the rights, responsibilities, and honors pertaining thereto. Congratulations, Doctor.
Will all the graduates please be seated?
Dean Lynch will present the candidates for the master's degree.
Will the candidates for all master's degrees, including the professional master's degree, the Master of Arts degree, the Master of Education degree, the Master of Fine Arts degree, and the Master of Science degree, please stand as I mention your college and remain standing? The College of Agriculture and Life Sciences, the College of Design, the College of Education, the College of Engineering, the College of Humanities and Social Sciences, the Poole College of Management, the College of Natural Resources, the College of Sciences, the Wilson College of Textiles, and the College of Veterinary Medicine. Chancellor Woodson, upon the recommendation of the Administrative Board of the Graduate School and the graduate faculty, I present these candidates who have fulfilled the degree requirements and recommend that their appropriate degrees be conferred.
Upon the recommendation of Assistant Dean Lynch, the Administrative Board of the Graduate School and the graduate faculty of North Carolina State University, and by the authority vested in me by our Board of Trustees, I hereby confer upon each of you individually the master's degree, with all the rights, responsibilities, and honors pertaining thereto. Congratulations.
Congratulations, and will the graduates please be seated?
Provost Arden will now recognize several groups of special undergraduate students that are with us today.
Thank you, Chancellor. I'd like to recognize those undergraduate students who are graduating with academic honors, and they can be identified by the color honor sashes that they are wearing. I'd first like those designated with a gold sash graduating summa cum laude with a grade point average of 3.75 or above to please stand and remain standing. With those designated with a silver sash graduating magna cum laude with a grade point average of 3.5 to 3.74. Please stand and remain standing. With those designated with a white sash graduating cum laude with a grade point average of 3.25 to 3.49. Please stand. Congratulations, graduates. Please be seated. I'd also like to recognize those students who have successfully undertaken and completed the special demands of the University Scholars Program, the University Honors Program, the Goodnight Scholars Program, the Park Scholars Program, the Goodnight Fellows, the Caldwell Fellows, or their college and departmental honors programs to please stand and be recognized at this time. Congratulations. Please be seated. All right, the deans will now present the candidates for the baccalaureate degrees from the respective colleges. Once all of the colleges have been introduced, Chancellor Woodson will confer their degrees. Dean Frank Buckles will present the candidates for the baccalaureate degrees from the Poole College of Management.
Would the candidates for the baccalaureate degree in the Poole College of Management please stand? On behalf of the faculty, I present these candidates who have engaged with our faculty, academic, and industry partners to develop their entrepreneurial mindset and analytical problem-solving capabilities to address the challenges and opportunities presented and to positively impact themselves, their family, their organizations, and our world. We welcome them as the newest members of our great Wolfpack community that celebrates excellence, innovation, inclusion, and ethical decision-making in all we do. Provost Arden, we proudly present these candidates who fulfill the degree requirements and recommend the appropriate degrees be conferred.
Thank you, Dean Buckles. Will the graduates please be seated? Dean Gary Fox will now present the candidates for the associate and baccalaureate degrees from the College of Agriculture and Life Sciences.
Will the candidates for the associate and baccalaureate degrees in the College of Agriculture and Life Sciences please stand? On behalf of the faculty of the College of Agriculture and Life Sciences, I proudly present these outstanding graduates. Their future careers will likely impact every citizen and community across the great state of North Carolina, the region, and potentially the world. Graduates of the College of Ag and Life Sciences are ready to support and grow agriculture and the life sciences, the #1 industry in the state of North Carolina with an estimated $103.2 billion in economic impact. The future poses challenges in how we feed, clothe, and power a rapidly growing population, while also ensuring that we sustainably produce our food, feed, fiber, and energy. Graduates of the College of Ag and Life Sciences will transform those challenges into future opportunities. They're ready to think and do with an unmatched tenacity and grit that has been instilled in them by our world-class faculty. This tenacity and grit are at the heart of the Wolfpack spirit. They may be graduating today from the college and NC State, but they will always embody our college's land-grant mission and will always be a part of the Wolfpack family. Provost Arden, on behalf of the faculty of the College of Ag and Life Sciences, I present these candidates who have fulfilled the degree requirements and recommend that the appropriate degrees be conferred.
Thank you, Dean Fox. Will the graduates please be seated? Dean Myron Floyd will now present the graduates for the baccalaureate degrees from the College of Natural Resources.
Thank you, Provost Arden. Will the candidates for the baccalaureate degrees in the College of Natural Resources please stand? Provost Arden, on behalf of the faculty and staff of the College of Natural Resources, I proudly present these extraordinary graduates who leave equipped to build a world in which everyone is welcomed and empowered to explore, protect, and enjoy the full diversity of our environment and our communities while building justice and sustainability for all. These graduates will steward our nation's forests, parks, wildlife, and water. They will manage spaces for recreation and sport, sustainably engineer paper and other biomaterials, and will go on to ensure the natural world around us continues to thrive for generations to come. They have fulfilled the degree requirements of our college, and I recommend the appropriate degrees be conferred.
Thank you, Dean Floyd. Will the graduates please be seated? Dean Mark Hoverson will now present the candidates for the baccalaureate degrees from the College of Design.
Thank you, Provost Arden. On behalf of the faculty of the College of Design, I present these graduates with great optimism for what they will accomplish. But first, I must ask them to please stand up. College of Design students, would you please stand up? Let's start again. On behalf of the faculty of the College of Design, I present these graduates with great optimism for what they will accomplish. They will shape our cities, protect and restore our environment, develop products and processes that improve our lives, and tell moving stories through film, animation, games, and visual documentation. Their design thinking will help us understand the challenges we face, generate options to solve them, and thus to design our future. Therefore, I present these candidates and recommend that the appropriate degrees be conferred.
Thank you, Dean Hoverson. Please be seated. Dean David Hinks will present the candidates for the baccalaureate degrees from the Wilson College of Textiles.
Thank you, Provost. Will the candidates for the baccalaureate degrees in the Wilson College of Textiles please stand? Provost Arden, on behalf of the proud faculty of the Wilson College of Textiles, I present these candidates who will epitomize what it means to be a member of the Wilson for Life family. They will design, develop, and market the next generation of advanced fibers and textiles to ensure our first responders and military are ever safer, in fire and under fire. They will develop innovative and sustainable clothing for a circular economy. They will take action to deconstruct inequities where they find them and build communities where all are welcome. They will develop the next generation of filters that protect our basic human needs by purifying the air we all breathe and the water we all drink. And the next generation of medical textile products like synthetic aortas that extend our lives. Yes, artificial aortas are textiles. I bet you didn't know that. And I bet you didn't know that they were invented in the Wilson College of Textiles either. I am confident that they will show their Wilson for Life spirit by giving support to fellow alumni and the students that will follow them. These outstanding candidates have fulfilled the degree requirements, and I am so proud to recommend that the appropriate degrees be conferred.
Thank you, Dean Hinks. Will the graduates please be seated? Dean Deanna Daniels will now present the candidates for baccalaureate degrees from the College of Humanities and Social Sciences.
Will the candidates for the baccalaureate degrees in the College of Humanities and Social Sciences please stand? Provost Arden, on behalf of the incredible faculty in the College of Humanities and Social Sciences, where we invite all NC State students, not just our own majors, to gain habits of heart and mind that build just communities of care and kindness, equity and empathy. I present to you today our candidates. Through their fierce inquiry into the human experience, they boldly shape conversations day after day week after week, year after year. Mark my words, these students are change agents that build a better future for each and every one of us. Provost Arden, on behalf of the faculty of the College of Humanities and Social Sciences, I present these candidates who have fulfilled the degree requirements and recommend that the appropriate degrees be conferred.
Thank you, Dean Dennels. Please be seated. Dean Lewis Owen will now present the candidates for the baccalaureate degrees from the College of Sciences.
Will the candidates for the baccalaureate degrees in the College of Sciences please stand? Congratulations, candidates, on completing your degrees. We are all very proud of you. Your studies have taken place during one of the most exciting times in human history. As you have seen through your studies, the sciences have expanded at an unprecedented rate, including, amongst others, new advances in analytical and computational methods, immense data generation, and the development of artificial intelligence and quantum science. At the same time, we're facing the greatest challenges in human history, including those associated with environmental change, human health and well-being, and national and global security. In this rapidly changing world, we look to you to take your passions and skills in the sciences to contribute to solutions to these grand challenges for a sustainable planet and data-driven future. I would like to thank you in advance. Provost Arden, on behalf of the faculty of the College of Sciences, I present these candidates who have filled the degree requirements and recommend that the appropriate degrees be conferred.
Thank you, Dean Owen. Will the graduates please be seated? Dean Paula Stein will now present the candidates for the baccalaureate degrees from the College of Education.
Will the candidates for the baccalaureate degree in the College of Education please stand? There you go. I proudly present to you these candidates who will be extraordinary educators. They will join a network of over 5,000 NC State alumni working in all 115 public school districts across our state of North Carolina and beyond. Because they chose education, they will impact society and change our future. Because they chose education, they will fulfill important roles in our communities. None of us would be here today without great educators. Provost Arden, on behalf of the faculty of the College of Education, I proudly present these candidates who have fulfilled the degree requirements and recommend that the appropriate degrees be conferred.
Thank you, Dean Stein. Will the graduates please be seated? Dean Jim Fettner will now present the candidates for the baccalaureate degrees from the College of Engineering.
Will candidates for baccalaureate degrees in the College of Engineering please stand? Provost Arden, on behalf of the proud faculty of the College of Engineering, I present these candidates who stand ready to redefine the boundaries of innovation and technology. These engineers have not only mastered complex theories, but have also applied their knowledge to solve real-world challenges. They have spent countless hours in labs, classrooms, and study halls, turning ideas into tangible solutions. They will lead the way in engineering solutions to society's greatest challenges, advancing manufacturing, computing, resilient infrastructure, medical technologies, and much more. Their commitment to ethical engineering practice will guide them in their work, striving for a more fair and just society as they steward our planet's resources. They have shown exceptional skill in teamwork, leadership, and problem solving, essential qualities that define outstanding engineers. These candidates have fulfilled the degree requirements, and I am so proud to recommend that the appropriate degrees be conferred.
Thank you, Dean Fettner. Will the candidates please be seated? All right, will the deans of all of the colleges and all of the faculty please stand for the conferring of degrees? Will members of the Board of Trustees please join the deans and faculty in standing? Now will all candidates for the associate and baccalaureate degrees from North Carolina State University please stand? Chancellor Woodson, as the Provost and Chief Academic Officer, I present these candidates who have fulfilled the degree requirements and recommend the appropriate degrees be conferred.
As your Chancellor, I am so proud of all that you've accomplished and the challenge that you will meet and exceed in the years ahead. I know you're ready to take on life and take it on head on. So be proud of your NC State heritage. And as you venture in life, give back, come back, and stay involved with the Wolfpack. You know, we've given you the benefit of an outstanding education that you've earned. And it's our hope that you will stay connected to this great university and make us all proud in the future. Upon the recommendation of the provost and the deans, the competitive deans, you know, each one of them has to build up their college. But on behalf of the deans and the NC State faculty, and by the authority vested in me as your chancellor by the Board of Trustees, I hereby confer upon each of you individually the degree of baccalaureate degree with all the rights, responsibilities, and honors pertaining thereto. Congratulations. You may be seated. The final group of students that I would like to recognize today are our newest commissioned officers in the United States military. You can see these students' names on the page 50 on the online digital program. These young people made the additional commitment during their time at NC State to further develop the character, the skills, and the leadership attributes necessary to earn the privilege to serve our nation as Army, Marine Corps, Navy, and Air Force officers. Let's give these officers, our veteran graduates, and our veterans and their families a round of applause for everything that they do and will do for our country. Each semester, the Commencement Advisory Committee is charged with conducting an exhaustive search to select that one individual, that one graduating student, no pressure, Miracle, that one graduating student to deliver a message on behalf of the entire graduating class. At this morning's commencement exercises, we're delighted to have with us a College of Sciences graduate, Miracle Holder. I knew it was going to be special. Miracle Holder transferred to NC State from UNC Greensboro in January 2021. While at NC State, she balanced her job as a certified nursing assistant, a phlebotomist, that's a bloodsucker. I just thought I'd put that in. It's not in the script. As a certified nursing assistant with her studies as well as her role as a career ambassador for the university's Career Development Center. She was also involved with NC State's Spanish Club and is a member of the Xi Omicron chapter of Sigma Delta Pi National Collegiate Hispanic Honor Society. She served as a teaching assistant and says it was one of the most rewarding experiences of her life to encourage her fellow students and help them succeed. Miracle is graduating with a bachelor's degree in biological sciences with a concentration in human biology, as well as minors in nutrition, Africana studies, and Spanish. And after graduation, Miracle plans to attend medical school and hopes to dedicate her career to fighting healthcare inequalities and disparities in underserved communities all across this country. Everyone, please join me in welcoming Miracle Holder.
Good morning. Family, faculty, alumni, staff, and most importantly, my fellow class of 2023 graduates. It is an honor and a privilege to stand before you and to deliver the commencement address. As powerfully stated by Nelson Mandela, education is the weapon which you can use to change the world. The prestigious NC State University has equipped us with that weapon to change our world. This weapon transcends physical, cultural, digital, financial barriers that await us as we transition from college students to our desired ambitions. Class of 2023, after we have turned our tassels, we are now held accountable for how we use this weapon. I charge you to take a moment to reflect with me. When we first stepped on campus, we were all from diverse backgrounds, but what united us was we were all a part of the pack. The one thing we all had in common was we were faced with the challenge of finding our place or sense of belonging within the pack. In our quest to adapt and survive college life, it took but a moment for us to realize we were in fact not alone. In various ways, we came across others who faced the same level of uncertainty and who were willing to embrace us into the pack. As we think back on what we consider the small challenges, we can now attest that those challenges motivated us to persevere to our graduation day. Many of us can remember asking a friend to help us figure out the bus route or asking a peer for study tactics after we may or may not have done as well on our first exam. And let's not forget to mention trying to find a new route to class due to continuing construction. And this was only the first semester. As we transition into our courses, our areas of study, we began to form relationships and build a community of peers who shared our same goals and interests. It was then that we realized that those small challenges had united us, not only by helping us find our pack, but to become pack strong. The primary key to strength in NC State's pack is the think and do philosophy. We encourage each other to think actfully and act thoughtfully to achieve higher heights. This very philosophy is what inspired me to turn all of my thinking in the classroom to doing outside the classroom. I was afforded the opportunity to do this when I served as a biochemistry teaching assistant, career ambassador and mentor for the Career Development Center, Sigma Delta Phi Spanish Honor Society co-president, and a member of the NC State Spanish Club. All of these experiences I will take on my personal journey to become a physician to positively impact the lives of misrepresented and underserved communities suffering from healthcare inequities and disparities. Not only have I applied the Think and Do philosophy for my own college journey, I intentionally stop to remind others to do the same thing. Class of 2023, if there is one thing I want you to remember from this speech, it is that there is strength in the pack. As we embark on our future endeavors, we must never forget the words, deeds, and actions of our fellow PAC members that brought us to where we are today. After the ceremony, I charge you to go out to your communities, state, or even the world, and empower others around you to become PAC strong. Now, some may say, what does it mean to be PAC strong? Well, it means to be P, persistent, A, accomplished, C, courageous, and K, knowledgeable. To all of our support systems, we want to thank you for your unwavering support, consistent encouragement, and guidance that led us to this defining moment in our lives. Now, class of 2023, let's take a trip down memory lane. When schools were closed and we could not go to class, we were PAC strong. When we were stuck in our dorms and couldn't attend campus activities, we were PAC strong. When some of us and our family members contracted COVID-19 and were quarantined, we were PAC strong. When we were forced to adapt to a new way of learning, we were PAC strong. When you left campus as a sophomore and returned as a junior, we were PAC strong. And lastly, when the world questioned if we could achieve our goal of graduation while faced with obstacles that no other generation had faced, we were PAC strong. Yeah. In other words, en otras palabras, as we leave today, como nos vamos hoy, we shall never forget that we are, nunca olvidaremos que somos empaque fuerte, PAC strong. Thank you and congratulations, class of 2023.
Thank you so much, Miracle. What a great message for our students. I would like our graduating class in 2023 to join me in recognizing a couple of very special groups of people in the audience today. Let me first acknowledge the members of the Golden Grad Forever Club seated at the bottom of section 102. And members of the Golden Grad Forever Club are all NC State alumni who graduated from NC State at least 50 years ago. They're over here in the corners. Stand up if you can. Next, and this is one big one. This is called, families, this is called the seventh inning stretch. So would the family members and friends of our graduates today please stand? Graduates, join me in thanking all of the people that helped make this dream a reality for each of you. There's some up here with those lighted sticks that I think they think this is Disney on Ice. Thank you all. You may be seated. The turning of the tassel is a symbolic turning of another page in one's life. I would like to ask our student speaker to come to the podium to lead the traditional turning of the tassel. And let me also ask Ryan Hester, President of our Alumni Association Board of Directors, to come forward.
Will all the graduates please stand? It is indeed an honor to lead my fellow graduates of the class of 2023 in the turning of the tassels.
Congratulations. On behalf of the NC State Alumni Association and the more than 290,000 living NC State alumni, it is my happy and humble privilege to welcome the class of 2023 into the Wolfpack alumni family. As you move forward, I encourage you to visit and volunteer your time and your experiences to the next generation of Wolfpack Nation. Please seek out university programs and operations where you are most passionate and can make a measurable impact. Take any opportunity to howl back at your alma mater, sharing your on-campus experiences, professional learnings, and leadership experience with our ambitious and curious NC State students. Please utilize the NC State Alumni Association as your conduit for your continued connection to our great university and its exceptional student body. For those of you wearing the official NC State ring, please ensure you have turned your ring so the block S is facing outward. This time-honored tradition symbolizes your graduation and is a mark of your truly outstanding achievement. Now, please join me in giving the class of 2023 a congratulatory round of applause. We wish you all the very best in your careers and are excited to keep you connected and active within NC State University. Congratulations, and go Wolfpack.
Well, what a great morning that's been. Congratulations to all of our graduates. We're so proud of you. Following the singing of our alma mater, the recessional will begin, so please remain in your seats after the alma mater until the platform party, faculty, and doctoral candidates have completely recessed. Yeah, I sincerely want to thank each of you for being part of this celebration. Graduates, we wouldn't be here without you today, so congratulations. We're excited for your future, and we're certainly proud of your perseverance. And I'm confident that your future is bright. And it's time to take your knowledge, your creativity, and your compassion, and yes, that think and do attitude that Miracle talked about out into this big, brave world. And I'm so proud and happy for all of you and all of your families. I invite everyone in the audience today to join our students and rise as the Wolfgang a cappella group sing our alma mater. And until we're together again, go Pack!
When to Oceanside. Our hearts ever hold you, NC State. In the folds of our love and pride.